Warning: the Lobo Show contains adult content, crude humor that may go against your religion, ethics, and morals. A perspective point of view you may not find your own. Viewer discretion is advised.
Just around the corner that is high, down the street that losers use. If you can wade in through the teardrops, you find me at the home of the blues. I walk and I cry while my heart beats, keeps time with the track of my shoes. The sun never shines through this window of mine. It's dark at the home of the blues. Oh, but the place is filled with the sweetest memories. Memories so sweet I wanna cry. Dreams that I've had left me feeling so bad. I just wanna give up, lay down and die. So if you just lost your sweetheart, and it seems there's no good way to choose, come along with me, misery lovers company. You're welcome at the home of the blues. You're welcome at the home of the blues.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back, hopefully, to the weekly topical podcast, to the black eye, to the black sore, to the black eye of everyone's radio, to the black cloud. You notice black is a bad word? I like black for some strange reason. It's my favorite color. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Lobo Show. I am your host, Lobo, and with me, as always, my producer, Heapsack.
Meh.
And ladies and gentlemen, we hit on the hard-hitting facts, the topics, the hot topics that is going on in the world today. Not just our country, but everywhere. And obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we are hitting in terms of this holiday that we call Columbus Day here in America, ladies and gentlemen. And a lot of maybe some Italians would fucking understand this. Salud, right? But Columbus Day is a holiday here, big and dear to America. Some people was like, hey, this is like a big deal, especially to a lot of Italian Americans. It's a big deal. Columbus discovered America, right? But let me tell you this. Some people say they beg to differ. They go, listen, I read my history books. Hey, Lobo, I'm a history buff. I know for a fact that fucking Columbus didn't discover America. I know for a fact that he didn't do nothing. And I know for a lot of people, this could be blasphemous. You know what I'm talking about? And I don't want to lose you people here. It is the Lobo Show. We are approaching to podcast 100. We're going to have something special for you guys then. But for now, we're just shooting this shit. Me, Lobo, and my producer Heapsack, we're gonna just kick the fucking shit with you guys and talk about a little bit of Columbus Day. So, Heapsack, my Jewish producer, if you don't mind enlightening some of these people who may not know what some of the younger crowd who may not know what Columbus Day is all about, if you please would enlighten them, Heapsack.
Well, Columbus Day is a national holiday in many different countries, such as America and everywhere else in the world that officially celebrates the anniversary of Christopher Columbus's arrival in America on October 12th, 1491. The landing is celebrated as Columbus Day in America. President Benjamin Harrison called upon the people of the United States to celebrate Columbus's landing in the New World on the 400th anniversary of the event. During the anniversary in 1892, teachers, preachers, poets, and politicians used rituals to teach ideals of patriotism. These rituals took themes such as citizenship boundaries, the importance of loyalty to the nation, and the celebration of social progress. Many Italian Americans observe Columbus Day as a celebration of their heritage, and the first such celebration was held in New York City on October 12, 1866. Although not all
Eh.
states recognize Columbus Day. States such as Alaska, Florida, Hawaii, Oregon, South Dakota, and Vermont do not recognize the holiday
And let me tell you
whatsoever.
something. That's fucking blasphemous. And not for nothing. See, you wonder why New Yorkers they talk shit about fucking Alaska and fucking Florida sometimes. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, you don't fucking celebrate Columbus Day. And what's another thing? What's it like?
Well, they celebrate it, but they consider it as like an alternative holiday. Like for example, Hawaii
Alternative.
celebrates Discoverers Day. Vermont,
What?
yeah, it's crazy. They don't want to call it,
Columbus
Columbus Day,
Day.
so they call it Discoverers Day. Yeah, it's kind of silly.
Vermont. What does Vermont do?
Vermont calls it Indigenous Peoples Day. Uh,
Ugh. Did they
South
change that?
Dakota, yeah, South Dakota calls it Native American Day. And until 2017, Oregon did not recognize Columbus Day as anything. I think it's important to recognize that the state government does not treat Columbus Day as a legal holiday. State, city, county government offices and schools will remain open for
That's
business.
correct. Well, let me just say this though. Last year, in the Lobo show, we did a Columbus Day video. And by the way, man, I'm on. There's a guy, who was our old producer. He sacked and knows this. Who has all the old archives. And I swear to God, I don't want to make this a running bit. But if you guys want our old shows, and I swear to God, this cunt is holding me up when it comes down to these old shows. He wants like a price. I don't know what the fuck he wants. But it's DJ Red Phoenix on Twitter. You know, that's Petro. I know, Zach. I know you're shaking your head right now, but fuck that. We touched on Columbus Day last year. We did a Columbus Day actually, fella. We went back when we used to do 2 shows a week. But let me tell you something, right? Oh, they don't recognize this fucking Hawaii and all that shit. Oh, we're gonna call it National Indigenous Day. Hey, let me tell you this though, right? Hey, as far as I'm concerned, what we were told in school, Columbus discovered America. And now in school, they teach different things. You know what I mean? They go, oh, well, you know what? Not only Columbus didn't discover America, he was a piece of shit. Now, who the fuck is to blame when I go, oh, fuck you? What are you talking about? I was told one thing, now you guys are saying another thing. And trust me, I'm not shitting on the educational system. I know that things change, and I know that there are things that we weren't told certain things, but now we're told different things. But I'm trying to say, get the fuck out of here. What's the story of Columbus? Is this guy clean or what? Well, what's the deal with this fucking guy, Sack?
Well, I mean, when you look back at the old books we were taught in school, they give us the PG version, but yeah, he does have blood on his hands, as many, as like all the old politicians do. It's like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. I mean, the list goes on and on. Andrew Jackson. So
Oh,
yeah,
no. Hold on. I get that, but I'm not gonna be here. This is the Lobo show. We're not gonna rip the fucking founding fathers over here.
of course.
Of course not, right? But I want to say this: this fucking Christopher Columbus, he wasn't a founder father, but they credit this guy as discovering America. And the truth
That's
of the
true.
matter is, he didn't. How can you discover something when people are already here? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like me going to fucking France right now and go, oh yeah, hey, look at these fucking assholes over here. They speak a different language. I don't know what they speak, but I discovered them. You know, I want to claim this land, San Salvador. Like, get the fuck out of here. But I'm gonna say this though. Fuck out of here with the school systems and shit. When they go, oh, they taught us about this Columbus shit. They taught us one thing, and now they're saying another thing when it comes down to the school system. And then we go like, oh, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know what the fuck to believe now. What was it? Was it A or was it fucking B? Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Am I saying this Columbus is a fucking hero? Nah, because the story goes no matter what, and I don't care, even though it was the old story that we were taught, this guy fucking slaughtered a lot of Native Americans, right? But the thing, well, we used to say it wasn't so bad because they was like, oh, the guy he had to do that, and if he didn't do that, America wouldn't be evolved. But this guy, not for nothing though, you know what I'm saying? This guy down there, he's kind of a piece of shit. He did time in jail. This guy was like he held a lot of slaves or something, right, Sack?
A lot of slaves. Oh yeah. I mean, this guy, that was the thing for him. He was, I wouldn't say he was as bad as Andrew Jackson, but he was up there.
Yeah, nah. Andrew Jackson was a different time, different level. We discussed this guy before, but I mean, here's the thing, right? When it comes to Columbus Day, I wouldn't mind another day to be paid to be off. That's how it is in America. It's like, ugh, not for nothing. In Sac, I don't mean anything bad by this, but Jesus Christ, these Jewish holidays, they go on for weeks. This guy that I work with, he's a guy, so you know what I'm talking about, right? One of your cousins. This guy had like 10 days off from work and he comes back and he's just like smiling and shit. He's got paid vacation and everything. But they're saying that we can't get a day off when Christopher Columbus. It's like, fuck that. I'm not gonna lie to you. To be honest, give me the fucking day off. I'd say give me the fucking day off. What he did and what he stood for, maybe that's not doesn't go back to my merits. It doesn't merit my fucking ideology. But I say if it merits a day off, I'll fucking take it as a working stiff. You know what I'm talking about?
Salut.
Salut, Sack. Salut. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of discussions we need to talk about here, but we're gonna keep moving it on. This is the Lobo Show. We don't want to make it too long for you. We have a explosive weekend going on here, Sack, right? Conor McGregor, big fight, Khabib.
Oh yeah, big fight. Yeah, huge fight tomorrow actually. Yeah, in Vegas.
I mean, this is like one of the hugest fights in UFC. What do you got on it?
Yeah, Dana White saying it's the biggest. The way I look at it is I have a feeling Connor's gonna win, but I know he's the underdog going in.
Is he is he
yeah.
the underdog in terms of Vegas odds and everything?
Yeah, I mean the
You know
guy
what's
he's
the better?
fighting, the guy he's fighting's never lost a round. He's never lost a fight. 26-0, badass Russian guy. So I don't know. I mean, I think Connor might knock him out in the first round. If Connor doesn't, Connor will lose. So
Really?
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, here's the thing, but you have to admit, though, besides the Floyd Mayweather thing, in terms of the UFC, this is the hardest competition that Connor's ever had. So, am I
Yeah.
right? Am I right to
you're
say?
right.
No,
You're right.
say, am I right to say this is the first time, besides the boxing fight he had with Floyd Mayweather, is this the first time that Connor is an underdog?
I believe he was the underdog in the Aldo fight because Aldo was the champ for so long, and then he knocked him out in 13 seconds. But
Correct.
yeah, like I think he was the favorite in the second Diaz fight. Yes, I think this is. I mean, he's gonna be the underdog in this fight. This guy's never lost a round, and this guy's the best grappler. So we'll see. I mean, if Connor can keep him standing, yeah, this will be interesting.
Well, I think men and women, I think that when it comes down to a big fight, I think to be honest, the fight that Floyd Mayweather had with Conor McGregor, what year was that?
That was last year, 2017.
Okay, so to be quite frank, and I say men and women, and in terms of fight fans, like I'm not gonna front, men. I don't care if you're like women, like I'm not into it, and then some guys like I'm not into fights, I don't follow it. But still, though, there are times when men and women gather around as human beings to get together for the biggest fight of the year. I think this is going to be the biggest fight of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Conor McGregor versus Khabib, and this Khabib guy. This Khabib.
You want to try to say his last name?
I thought I did. I thought I did. What's his last name? I thought Khabib was his last name.
UFC is so crazy. They put his first name on the poster. His last name is so long. It's pronounced Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov. Right.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Like a lot of these guys don't like him. It is what it is. But here's the thing, though. I'm going to say one last thing. If this fucking McGregor does win, he's like he is a Floyd Mayweather of UFC.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In every fucking body. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Lobo Shows. We do appreciate you listening this long, and obviously we have a lot of great content coming up, more and more every time. But so we like to start off the content. It's almost like like shooting in a couple of baskets until you get warmed up. It's almost like starting up your old Buick, if you will. If you're American, and if you're like English, you're starting off the old bloody hell. You're starting up your car and shit. But there's one thing that doesn't need to get started up. Ladies and gentlemen, I may start off slow, but I know one thing that won't. Everything, it's all you've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. You've been waiting all week for this. 7 days in total. Ladies and gentlemen, I want everybody to strap themselves for the most important thing that's going to happen in the history of podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the nightly news with the heap sack.
WINS HD, WWFS HD3, New York.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, October 5th, 2018, 65 degrees in New York City, and this is the Nightly News with the SAC. Chicago officer Jason Van Dyke is guilty of murder in the death of Laquan McDonald by the New York Times. The white Chicago police officer who fired 16 shots into Laquan McDonald, a black teenager, is guilty of second-degree murder, a jury said Friday. The defendant, Jason Van Dyke, became the first Chicago police officer convicted of murder for an on-duty shooting in nearly 50 years. His case has been followed closely in this city since dashboard camera video of the shooting was released in 2015. Jurors also convicted Officer Van Dyke on 16 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm, one for every shot he fired at Laquan. Officer Van Dyke, who was escorted out of the packed courtroom with his hands folded behind his back, could face decades in prison when sentenced. Outside the courthouse, a group of activists who had planned protests if the officer was acquitted cheered and chanted, "Justice for Laquan, justice for Laquan." The video showed Laquan, who was carrying a knife, veering away from the police when Officer Van Dyke jumped out of his squad car and started shooting. The shots continued after Laquan, who was 17 years old at the time, collapsed onto the street. As the case played out at a heavily guarded county courthouse over the last 3 weeks, activists promised massive demonstrations if Officer Van Dyke was acquitted, and city officials extended police officers' shifts and made plans for protests. After the verdict was announced, a group of several hundred demonstrators marched along downtown streets as the police blocked traffic to allow them to pass. Officers accompanied the demonstrators on foot and on bicycles. The mood was generally celebratory, but there were some pockets of dissatisfaction. To shoot someone down like that with no cause is first-degree murder, said Rebecca Johnson, marching near the front of the crowd. So there's anger, but there's relief too, that we at least got a murder conviction. Prosecutors had charged Officer Van Dyke with first-degree murder, but Judge Vincent Gahan also gave jurors the option of convicting him of second-degree murder, which carries a far shorter prison term. Jurors were told to convict on second-degree murder if they decided that the shooting was unjustified, but that Officer Van Dyke believed at the time that he was doing the right thing. Several jurors who did not give their name spoke to reporters in the courtroom after the verdict was announced. One said acquittal was never on the table, and that the main debate was whether to convict on first or second-degree murder.
Well, you know, in Chicago, it's pretty rough out there, right? I'm going to say this. Listen, man, for the truth of the matter is, I have to say this. The cops are doing their due diligence. Now, let me finish here what I wanted to say. When there's some asshole, some yahoo with a knife, and he's like, oh, you know, he's in a standoff, and he's got a knife, and there's a bunch of pistols surrounding him. He's an idiot, obviously. This guy has mental problems. But the truth of the matter is, though, man, and I'm going to be Lobo here, and I know you got to be heap sack, dude. But for these guys to pull out their fucking guns, they're fucking cowards, man. These cops are mad pussy, and I said this before, and I'll say it again. Stop being so fucking pussy. You have a fucking gun. Pull the gun out on the guy. Listen, buddy, put the fucking knife down. You don't want to do this and shit. But instead of these options, these guys come out like, oh, yeah, you know, we're going to shoot him. They already had like this guy recorded already, telling this guy, like, yeah, we're going to shoot this guy down. He's got a knife and shit. He's got a fucking knife. You got to shoot him down? Only in America, man. This is why these other countries are laughing at us, especially these other countries that have no guns, like, you know, the UK. They go, oh, these fucking bloody Americans. Look how savage they are. These fucking cops and shit. Stupid idiot fucking cops. I'm not gonna lie to you, G. I'm tired of defending the cops because it's like I understand it. They're trying to do a good job. In America, there's a lot of assholes out there. There's a lot of criminals. There's a lot of people who will fucking rob your house while you're at work or while you're sleeping and getting up for work for the next day. There are people that they're trying to do you harm. But that being said, like, come on, man. These cops are way, like, so fucking afraid. Like, these cops have got the gun. They got their guns out, and there's a guy with a knife out there. and they have to shoot the guy 16 fucking times. How many times was it, Sack?
16 times.
16
16
fucking
shots.
times. Listen, I know, I get it. It's so like ignorant to go, why did you shoot him once in the leg? I know that's ignorant. You don't understand. You have to be there, you know what I'm saying, to understand these certain things, and you can't talk like that because you're going to sound like an asshole. But to me, I don't think I sound like too much of an asshole when I say, the fuck? The fuck? You couldn't shoot him in the fucking leg? You couldn't shoot him in his fucking, his little piggy toe or something. Or you didn't have to shoot anybody. The guy had a fucking knife. Obviously, he was very disturbed. You guys could have tackled him or do something. This could have been prevented. This whole thing of this idea, these police officers in America, it's like with their guns, Maron to me. I swear to fucking Christ, I swear. What the fuck are they doing? Like, what the fuck are they going to do about this shit? You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here. Afanabla. These fucking guys are just fucking, come on. These cops are so afraid they're going to pull out the guns in anywhere and just shoot a guy with a knife. I believe in England, as Americans, we try to go, oh, we're better than England. But in England, they don't carry guns. In a situation like that, that wouldn't happen. So that's very unfortunate that it did happen here. And if you guys got something to say, just holler at me at the comment section. But other than that, it's very disappointing when you hear something like that happen in America. Now, I get it. I know you guys might say, "Oh, hey, well, CNN. You look at CNN. They show this picture of this guy, and he's graduating and it's fucking bullshit. And this guy was a thug. I get that. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, sure." The guy was a thug. What about the other guy? They made a big deal about. You know what I'm talking about down south when the guy was like stealing a box of cigarillos and he held the guy at gunpoint and they ended up killing him and now he's a fucking hero. I totally fucking get that. But you have to admit, a lot of these cops are mad pussy, dude. They got their guns, 16 shots at a kid with a gun. That's pussy. That's fucking faggot shit. I'm sorry for using an F word, but that's faggot shit. And nobody's going to report me because nobody's listening this long. But that's faggot shit if you ask me. Let's move on, Sack.
In other news, Mexican tourist hotspot hit by naked crime wave by the New York Post. They didn't mention this in the guidebook. It's famous for its dazzling beaches, shops, and palm-covered mountains, with the Lonely Planet declaring it as one of Mexico's most enticing coastal destinations, attracting millions of tourists each year. It's definitely a tourist drawing card. But now, the resort town of Puerto Vallarta is making headlines for a strange new reason, a naked mystery that's shocking locals and baffling officials. A group of people have been abducted, stripped and tied naked to lampposts, with their buttocks red and raw. Local police have confirmed the incidences and have opened an investigation, but declined to say how many people were involved. However, local media have reported at least 10 different cases. The victims also had the letter R marked on their heads, potentially referring to the Spanish word for rat or thief.
Rata.
There's speculation it could be a bizarre twist in the local gang wars, but the victims refusing to talk to the police or claiming that they didn't remember anything, so it's hard to really know for sure. Only one victim has given away any information, stating that he was taken from his home by people unknown to him before he was beaten on a farm. Mexico has come under the spotlight this year for skyrocketing murder rates. Crazy stuff.
One thing about Mexico, one thing they never fucked with is with the tourists, right? So the tourists, they come in. And, it's like, okay, the cartels, they have the hand on everything, especially a situation like this. And this is why the people are not talking. Because if you got like a stamp on your head with the R, like at the back of your head, it's probably because you were a rat. You did something wrong. And these guys are not talking. They're not telling the officials anything because they know they did something wrong. So obviously, this is not why they're telling them. But I'm just going to say this, though, not for nothing, for anybody who doesn't know. Like, yeah, I know Mexico always boasts their like, hey, come travel over here, come to Acapulco, come to all these other places, but get the fuck out of here. The cartels run that shit. If you're American, stay the fuck away from Mexico. Bottom line. You know what I'm saying, Sack? These guys are like, oh, let's go visit out there. And not only that, let's leave out of the resort. Let's go fucking visit real Mexico. Let's try to score some weed out there. Fuck out of here. You don't want to do that. The motherfuckers will fuck you up, G. You know what I'm talking about, Sec.
Mexico gives me the heebie-jeebies, Lobo. Scares me.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd rather go to Mexico than El Salvador or Honduras. Don't get me wrong and shit. If I
I
had to go
agree.
travel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather go to Mexico than fucking Dominican Republic. Not for nothing. But still, though, those motherfuckers will kidnap your ass in a minute. Not for nothing, though, to be honest and shit. And I'm gonna say one thing about those fucking cartels, and if they ever came up to me, I'll tell you one thing. I'll say, hey, you're not gonna fucking kidnap me, you fucking Mexicans. I'm the Lobo and shit. I'm the motherfucking Lobo from the Lobo show. You're not gonna kidnap me. I'm over here to visit. You know what they're gonna tell me, Sack? You know what they're gonna tell me?
What are they going to tell you, sir?
They're like, hey, Holmes, Lobo, man, you're the wolf, eh? We're gonna take you back to the lowrider. You just go play some cards, eh? We're gonna take you back and kidnap you. You're pro Donald Trump, eh? I'm like, hey, fuck off. I'm from New York City. You're not gonna take me to the back of your fucking lowrider and do what you will. But you know what they're gonna tell me? They're gonna go, oh, hey, you know, Lobo, we got you. We're from the fucking LA area. You talk a lot of shit, eh, Holmes? Yeah, I go, fuck yourself. Fuck you. I voted for Trump, and I'm glad that Kavanaugh's gonna get sworn in by Saturday. Let's fucking move the fuck on, Sack. I'm a Catholic. You're a Jew. These fucking LA pieces of crap. You know what I mean? I mean everybody, but they're not gonna hold me fucking down. I'll tell you that. With their fucking lowriders and their fucking bullshit vocabulary. I'm sorry that I said that. Let's move on.
In other news, South Koreans visiting North Korea for summit anniversary by the Washington Times. A South Korean government delegation arrived in North Korea on Thursday for a joint celebration of the anniversary of a 2007 summit and to possibly hold further peace talks. A South Korean government delegation arrived in North Korea on Thursday for a joint celebration of the anniversary of a 2007 summit and to possibly hold further peace talks. South Korean Unification Minister Chao Myong-gon said
Because
that
they're tight.
is an opportunity to strengthen cooperation and to develop peace talks between the rivals. Chao's group was greeted at Pyongyang's airport by Ra Sang-gon, chairman of the North Korean agency that handles inter-Korean affairs, who said that the agreements produced by the series of inter-Korean summits, two during the 2000s and three in 2018, have set the standard for reunification. In addition to government officials, the South Korean delegation includes lawmakers, religious leaders, civil makers. The visit comes as U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo prepares to make his fourth visit to Pyongyang on Sunday with the aim of setting up a second summit between President Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. During his 3-day visit to Pyongyang, Chow plans to hold talks with Rai to discuss how to carry out the agreements made by Kim and the South Korean President Moon Jae-in at a summit in Pyongyang last month. That was Kim and Moon's third meeting this year as they work to resolve the nuclear standoff following a run of North Korean nuclear and missile tests. The South Korean delegates will also tour major North Korean facilities and attend a performance of the North's iconic mass games. It's unclear whether they will meet Kim before returning home on Saturday. During their Pyongyang summit, Kim and Moon said they agreed to reduce the conventional military threat between them and hold another summit in Seoul, potentially within the year. North Korea said it would allow outside experts to observe the dismantling of a missile engine test site and a rocket launch pad and might dismantle its main nuclear complex if the United States takes unspecified corresponding measures. Chow told South Korean lawmakers on Monday that North Korea is estimated to have 20 to 60 nuclear weapons. Kim and President Donald Trump met in Singapore in June, where they were issued vague aspirations for a nuclear-free Korean peninsula without saying when and how it would occur. Follow-up talks between the countries stalled, with North Korea accusing Washington of gangster like demands on denuclearization. That left Seoul lobbying hard for a second summit between President Donald Trump and Kim to keep alive a positive atmosphere for nuclear diplomacy.
Well, it all depends if they want it. To be honest, obviously they're trying to look like a powerhouse, but they're not gonna look like a powerhouse. Come on, what the fuck is what do they got going on with that fucking? They're like it's like their version of the Olympics, like like North Korea. It's like, oh, come visit us. We got this. This is the only thing that we got. This whole thing where people do these choreographed dances. What's that all about?
Yes, you're talking about the mass games. Well, that is a 90-minute, stadium sized, synchronized gymnastic performance featuring as many as 100,000 volunteer participants against the backdrop of a massive, ever changing human powered jumbotron.
Yeah, jumbotron. That's as far as the technology goes. A big jumbotron. That's all we got. And you know what? Not for nothing. These South Koreans, they want to make a broker. They want trying to broker this deal with North Korea, and they want to be in the limelight of like, hey man, we are a powerhouse and everything, and they're doing the right steps to do so. But let's keep it real. Their antics and their whole check this show out. It's a fucking facade and it's a fucking fraud. This is a third world malnourished country, and it should be treated accordingly. Fuck that country. They've been oppressing people for over 50 fucking years. When people say, "Oh, you're so American" and all of that shit, no, 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 no. I totally get that. I understand that. But listen, dude, I understand if you call me that, you call me an elitist, which I'm not. I'm not. I'm more of a capitalist. But I will say this though. Over there, I'm telling you right now, that's fucking propaganda at its worst. Fuck that piece of shit. All those people are malnourished. It's fucking bullshit. This guy bangs all the fucking quote unquote North Korean pop stars. If you want to be a North Korean pop stars, Kim Jong Un's banging you first. He's popping that pussy. You know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry to go there, but I have to. If they're listening this long, and this is the Lobo show, it's Chief Sack. Let's move on.
And finally, 71 years ago today, Brian Johnson was born. The English singer and songwriter in 1980 became the lead singer for the Australian rock band AC/DC after the death of lead singer Bon Scott. He and the rest of the band were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2003. In March of 2016, Brian Johnson stepped down from touring on the Rock or Bust World Tour due to hearing problems. On May 20th, 2016, Brian Johnson stated in an interview, "I've had a pretty good run in AC/DC," and implied that he might not be returning by saying, "I'm just thankful, really, that I came out of it in one piece." AC/DC, for the people that don't know, is an Australian rock band formed in Sydney in 1973 by brothers Malcolm and Angus Young. In 1974, the legendary Bon Scott would join the band to give us such classics as
Oh
"It's a
yeah.
Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll." Brian Johnson was one of the founding members of the rock band Geordie, formed in Newcastle in 1971. After a few hit singles, including UK Top 10 All Because of You, the band called it quits in the late 70s. After a night on the town in London, AC/DC's lead singer Bon Scott died on February 19th, 1980. AC/DC was very fortunate to find somebody that sounded like Bon Scott in Brian Johnson. When he was asked to audition for the band in London, AC/DC lead guitarist and co-founder Angus Young recalled, "I remember Bon playing me Little Richard and then telling me the story of when he saw Brian singing. He says about that night, there's this guy up there screaming at the top of his lungs, and then the next thing you know, he hits the deck. He's on the floor, rolling around and screaming. I thought it was great. And then to top it off, you couldn't get a better encore. They came in and wheeled the guy off." The band agreed immediately that Johnson's performing style fit AC/DC's music. Johnson's first album with AC/DC, Back in Black, became the second all-time best-selling album worldwide.
Brian Johnson is fucking amazing. 100%. But we have to give it up a little bit to Bon Scott. And Bon Scott was so fucking amazing. He wrote a lot of songs for ACDC. He was their front man, and Long Way to the Top to Rock and Roll is fucking deep as fuck. If you listen, I know ACDC is more of a like a thrash band. Like you listen to it, you just bumping your head and shit. Almost like you bump into your head to like some hip hop, song and shit that you really like. But this song, you know what I'm saying? It's like you have to understand it's a different level. But I love Brian Johnson. And this is about fucking Brian Johnson. Lobo's thoughts on Brian Johnson, ACDC. This guy, Brian Johnson, was a guy who took the fucking ball and fucking ran with it though, man. Not only that, it wasn't like, oh, like how like they had like David Lee Roth and Van Halen, and they had like, and they had Sammy Hagar later, and they had like a different sound for every lead singer that they have. ACDC always had the same fucking sound, man. That was great about them. And what was great about them is that when he got Brian Johnson, just like, listen, man, we kind of want to keep that sound. And they had a guy who legit sounded like the fucking guy who already had credibility. And I'm telling you right now, dude, during this fucking time, you want to talk about back in the days, man, we're talking about like the fucking 70s and shit, man. It was a complete rougher and tougher time. There was no internet. You had to go to the shows to experience the motherfucking band. You know what I'm talking about? The classic fucking bands. AC/DC was always a band that always held up. That was from that era. They had different singers. Most people don't know that. Brian Johnson was the man. But I have to admit though, man, during the time of ACDC, there was, to me, I think it was a great time of just music in general. And we have to admit, the classic bands were a fucking classic indeed. What's some of the bands that you liked?
Well, one of my favorite classic bands of all time is definitely Leonard Skinner, without a doubt. I mean, they
Oh
are the
yeah.
70s.
Oh
They
yeah.
bleed the
Fuck yeah.
70s. They
Fuck
died
yeah.
in the 70s. They
Fuck yeah.
are the 70s, in my opinion. When I
Fuck yeah,
think of
yeah.
that time, classic rock. I mean, to me, man, a lot of people might, give me a little hate for this one, but Alan Collins is one of the greatest guitarists I've ever heard. That
Right.
solo from Freebird,
I
that's
don't think
him.
I don't think anybody will give you shit for that. Anybody who knows fucking
I mean, yeah, like the
Leonard
guitar
Skinner.
music, yeah.
I mean,
Like,
and here's the thing, just for I know everybody's gonna roll their eyes what I'm gonna say right now. Everybody who's listening to this and they made it this far. How did Leonard Skinner, ladies and gentlemen, obviously everybody can raise their hand. How did Leonard Skinner get their name? How did they get their name for their fucking the most infamous band in the world in American history? How did they get their name? Leonard Skinner.
well, it's funny you asked that. They got that name from their gym coach. Their gym coach was not a big fan of them because they had long hair. They were rebels,
Yeah, totally.
And I mean, this was back in the day. I mean, we're talking
Honestly.
60s.
Right.
Yeah, early 60s type stuff. So I mean, they were still kids, and he did not like them. He would actually tell them to go to the office because the way they looked. These guys were they
Yeah.
did not look the part because back then you had to have a certain haircut. When you went
Sure,
to school, people
and
don't
you have to
know.
understand. This is what I'm saying, though, man. See, I don't know how it is this day and age. Maybe I'm a little bit out of touch, but back in the days, it used to be about fucking rock and roll, man. It was like, hey, listen, man. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this kid, oh, I want to go shoot at my fucking school. It was like, oh, hey, I'm a little bit of a rebel. I got long hair. They tell me to cut it. I'm not gonna cut it. I'm a part of Leonard Skinner, man. And this guy's fucking they all died in a plane crash and shit, which is unfortunate, right?
Well, not all of them died. I
Really?
believe Steve Gaines, Ronnie, the lead singer, and Steve Gaines' sister died. But the
Unfortunate.
rest of them were really mangled. Like, Alan's legs were screwed up. He couldn't play like standing up anymore. They all. I mean, the only original surviving member is Gary Rossington. He still plays with the band. He's an original. He's the
So,
only
so,
guy.
so, so let me ask you something. Obviously, they had hits like "Sweet Home Alabama" and "Free Bird" and all these other songs. But I mean, have they ever like is Leonard Skinner still like a great band? Is touring? Do people
Let
accept
me
the
tell you
fact
something
that
about Leonard Skinner. And this, I will say this
go on, Zach,
with
go
my
on.
heart. Leonard Skinner wrote, in my opinion, some of the greatest music. I'm not talking about rock and roll, but music. You talk about songs like Give Me Back My Bullets, Saturday Night Special, That Smell. I mean, I can go on and on. Roll,
Right.
Gypsy Roll, Whiskey
Okay.
Rock and Roller. I can go on and on. Every song from Skinner was an A+ song. You knew what you got with Ronnie. You got soul, and you had three guitar players. You had a hell of a drummer. I mean, they like Leonard Skinner, in my opinion, will live on forever in that scene because people still play Free Bird,
Of
Simple
course,
Man,
of
Sweet Home
course.
Alabama.
Right,
I mean, those
sure.
are their big hits, but I like, there's stuff that people don't really know, like, I mean, I don't know, like a few of those songs that I just named off. I mean,
But
I
uh,
can.
but but I'll say this though. I understand that you got a lot of songs that you don't know, but there's a lot of people who knows the popular shit, which is nothing wrong with that either. You know what I mean? And I know one thing: they totally slammed Neil Young. You know, it's like, oh, a Southern man, don't need him around anyhow, and he was like from Canada. Like, what's the deal with that? Fuck off, Neil Young. I'm just saying, don't get me twisted. Oh man, it was a great song and everything. Neil Young was great. He was great in the harmonica and everything. But hey, I think it was like the original first rap beef. I think Leonard Skinner totally kicked the shit out of Neil Young and that whole thing. Neil Young's from Canada. I'm saying not for nothing though.
Yeah, I mean, that was a weird one because Neil back then, he was based out of California, even though he was Canadian. He got that record deal out of Toronto,
Mm.
and yeah, he was kind of looked on as a hippie, and he wanted to push this like a
Hippie.
progressive movement.
Right.
And the thing about Skinner is they're all about tradition. If you know anything
Nice.
about them, they're all
Skinner
Southern
riff.
boys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? And that's fucked up what happened to them. I wish Skinner was still alive because I'll tell you this right
They
now,
still
right?
make records. I mean, his brother's the singer,
Listen,
Ronnie's brother. Yeah,
and,
does
and
the
listen,
singing.
and dude, not for nothing. Big up to Brian Johnson. Big up to ACDC. They fucking rule. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. ACDC said it best. I love Thunderstruck personally, but I'll tell you one thing that I do dislike is the fact that Fatso Rose, everybody knows Fatso Rose, aka Axel Rose. He stinks. I hate the guy. Brian Johnson lost his hearing, right? And that's what they're saying, right? That's to me, that's a true way for a rock and roller to go out. Like, dude, I lost my hearing. I can't even hear no more. I can still rock, but I can't hear anymore. So I'll probably be out of tune and out of key. But Fatso Rose, fuck off. You know why I say fuck off to that fat piece of shit? Because back then, when we was doing Guns N' Roses, people paid like $275 to go see. And I know $275 is nothing in this day and age, but back then that was a big deal. And you go pay, and you pay and shit. Metallica was opening, and then fucking like Guns N' Roses was headlining, and then Fatso Rose wouldn't even come out. Fuck him. What a piece of shit. Great bands, ACDC. Holy shit, Leonard Skinner. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, Heap Sack.
Fuck yeah. Let me ask you a real quick question
All right.
before, I mean, we wrap this up.
Sure.
I mean, you're probably gonna say, and I know what it is, but what was the first song that introduced you to AC/DC? Because I remember mine, but what was yours?
Well, I think that it has to be Highway to Hell. Highway to Hell truly has to have been like the first song that gave me onto it. Obviously, if you know ACDC, you would know that they do a lot of better songs than that. They done a lot of memorable more songs than that. But Thunderstruck is my favorite. Is also that song that everybody knows. And to me, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. And if you listen to those lyrics, I think, Heap Sack will agree. God damn it. Gee damn it. God darnish. It says a lot on that song, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
I
let me
mean,
ask you a question. What's your opinion on Fatso Rose?
well, um, I don't really have like any opinions on him. I mean, the fact that he's the lead singer of AC/DC is a bit
Yick.
strange. Yeah,
Yick.
but I
Yick.
don't have anything. I mean, he was good in Guns N' Roses. I like some of their stuff.
He was, I guess, but he was more of a studio guy. He could sing like real nice with the studio and all this other shit to help him out. But in terms of a live concert, thumbs down.
Oh
You know,
yeah? Oh really? Okay.
that's just my opinion. I hope it's not anybody else's opinion. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do have to let Hugh go. He's got a lot of people waving him in the background. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the nightly news with the Hugh Wave to him, ladies and gentlemen. There is smells glory in the Charlie sweater. Wave, bye. Lobo Show, segment number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning back in. Hopefully, I am your host, Lobo. With me, as always, my producer, Heath Sack. We're here to continuously talk more bullshit into your ears. And hopefully, we're fucking literally raping your ears, but in the good way. In the good way, if that's even possible. So Hugh Sack, like I said, let's wrap this fucking thing up. Obviously, we all got shit to do, but we do have to talk about the big fucking thing that everybody should be talking about in this weekend, and that's Conor McGregor and Khabib. One last time, Sack, your prediction. What the fuck is going on? What's going on? Everybody needs to know, Sack.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the biggest one, right? They're calling this the biggest fight. 3 million pay-per-view
Yeah,
buys.
dude, I
Connor's
bought
making
it.
50 million. I mean, this is crazy. This is
I
crazy.
bought it. Everybody and their grandmother's watching this fucking fight. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you. They are. But here's the thing: thanks to Conor McGregor, nobody be watching this fight right now if he wasn't in it. So let's get the fact. Hugh Sack, you're the fight expert. What is your opinion? There's a lot of people listening to this part right now. Maybe there's some people that listen to the end part more to the beginning. What is your opinion on this fight, the biggest fight in the UFC in the last 8 months? Because to be honest, even the whole thing with Mayweather and McGregor, that in a way they'll take both. Like boxing will claim that, but UFC like, we claim that too. It's Conor McGregor. It's our fight. So who's gonna win?
Oh man, I mean, if I'm, with being like the smart guy, like if I was gonna be like a betting man, I guess the smart bet would be to go with Habib, because this is the classic grappler versus striker. This is, the classic reason why UFC started. Who would win in a fight, the stand-up fighter or the ground fighter? In, Habib, you have.
Hold on, Sack. Let me stop you. Is it Habib or Khabib? I thought it was Khabib. I kept saying it with the K word. Am I ignorant? Is it Habib now? What's going on with that?
Well, it's pronounced Habib, and it's funny you bring that up because they have his first name, like I mentioned earlier, on the poster, and nobody can even get this guy's first name right because, like Jeff Mayweather, he has a YouTube channel, and he did like predictions. He kept calling Habib what was he calling him?
Kebab.
Yeah.
Kebab. Yeah.
Like a kebab, yeah. Like why? That's so disrespectful. You know what I mean? Right. And because where he comes from, Dagestan, they're all into their tradition, their names. My name means this and that. His nickname is the Eagle. Yeah. So it's like this is going to be crazy because if Conor beats him, I will say Conor is one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time because this guy he's never lost a round in MMA. He's never lost a fight.
Agreed. Wow.
This guy's 26-0. Nobody goes 26-0 in full contact fighting. You just don't do it. Fedor didn't go 26-0. Nobody goes 26-0. You know what I mean? Like that really speaks volumes.
Well, like I said though, to me, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a hard game, a hard fight or match to gamble on. I don't want to bet against Conor. I know like Khabib is like it's popular to vote on Khabib, but then again, Conor could end up being the Floyd Mayweather of UFC. He could end up being that guy who lands like 40 punches and ends up winning the fight. I'm just trying to tell you. I understand that. I know you're a fight expert, and I'm pretty sure you're like, nah, Lobo, trust me, Khabib is gonna win as soon as Khabib is getting the hands on them. But what if like McGregor turns out to be like the Mayweather? Like, no, that's the problem. You're not gonna get your hands on me, dude. I'm gonna do everything what it takes to get your hand. I know Diaz was a different story. I get that. And those are the Diaz brothers. But Khabib, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I'm absolutely interested, and we should do a follow-up on this tomorrow because this is, to me personally, the most interesting fight in the UFC. Hopefully, I don't know if the people are gonna, remember this or not, right, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, there's only two ways this fight goes.
Okay.
Either
final opinion. So who's gonna win? Tell me your opinion.
Yeah, man, you're putting me on the spot a little bit.
I mean, you have to. It's Lobo show, buddy.
Yeah,
I mean, write this out. We better get some Gunjilis.
Who do I think?
No, okay, who's gonna win? No, who's gonna win, Sack?
Okay, but and I'm not putting in like, oh, I like this guy or like that guy, but who I think is gonna win.
Sure, that's
I
it.
think Connor's gonna win. But hold
What?
on, but hold on.
What?
Well, let me explain. Can I explain something? Okay, hold on,
Sure,
listen.
sure you can.
There's only truly like if you know MMA, right? Okay, I could be
Okay.
wrong.
Right, right,
Crazy
right.
stuff can happen during the fight, but there's only truly two ways this fight can go. And it's either Habib wins a decision by, just grinding Connor out for 5 rounds, outworking him. I don't see him submitting him. Crazy stuff could happen. Could he submit Connor? Sure. Connor's been submitted in the UFC, but I do
Oh.
not see that happening. And the other option is Connor knocks him out in the first 2 rounds.
Wait a minute, just for the record though, when you say Connor was submitted though, he was submitted what, like in his early days, dude?
No, no, he got submitted by Diaz. Remember? A couple years ago. Yeah, Nate Diaz submitted him.
Okay, all right, by a
Yeah.
true Mexican. Holy shit! But he's not fighting the Mexican, is he?
I mean, he's not, but he's fighting a Russian, I mean, these guys are dangerous too.
Ugh,
I
you know
don't
what?
know,
It's
man.
weird. Here's the thing, right? I got my money on Khabib, but not for nothing. I
That's a
wouldn't be
smart
surprised.
choice.
No, but here's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Connor wins. It's weird, right? Isn't it? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's like it's one thing like you put in a fight. Like, oh, I know this guy's a bum. No, both of those guys are not bums. Both of these guys are legit,
because
absolutely
I
real.
mean, when
But
they came to New
I'm
York, like
conflicted.
you
I'm
remember,
conflicted.
like when Habib fought our boy, Ally Quinta.
Habib, is it Habib or Khabib?
Habib.
Okay.
When
Where's Khabib from then? What is that from? I'm not
Habib.
from.
Well, that's I don't know. People, I guess, trying to want to make jokes, but it's
Really? Oh, I swear to Christ! I
well,
swear
you
to
got Jeff
Christ! I.
Mayweather calling him a kibasa or whatever, or a shawarma. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. People
Right.
make up
Right.
jokes. Yeah. But no, I just think like this is really hard because Connor, he's gonna go out there and he's gonna go crazy. We've seen how he
Oh
fights. He's
yeah.
a very
Sure.
aggressive
Sure.
counter
Sure.
puncher.
Absolutely.
He comes forward. And the thing about Habib, we've seen him fight Ally Quinta here in New York, last April, I believe. And he won that fight. But yeah, he won it. And yeah, some people can say he dominated, but Ally Quinta held his own. Ally Quinta stuffed some takedowns. You know what I mean? And Ally Quinta is ranked like a 15th in the world. He's my favorite fighter. Don't get me wrong. He doesn't get the respect he deserves. But Conor, this is Conor McGregor. He's
Right.
bigger
Right.
than the UFC. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, I know what's gonna happen right now because they're waving this off right now, ladies and gentlemen. And
Down the street, that loses
it's the Lobo show. Unfortunately,
you. Wading
I'm
through
trying to
the
get back to everyone.
teardrops
I've
you
been in
find
the
me
heat sack's been
at
absolutely
the
extremely busy.
home.
We have some contract negotiations we've been going through.
Walking, I
Most people
cry
don't know
while
that.
my heart
Believe,
beats.
I swear to God, believe it or not.
Just stand with the track
But
of
we'll
my
be back. Hopefully, we got an
shoes.
extension going
The
around for a
sun
couple of
never
days.
shines through the
Ladies and gentlemen, we
window
want to
of
appreciate Sarah
my
Olsen for the fucking
stuck at
theme song.
home.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the Heat Sack
Oh, but the
and for the
place is
Lobos,
here.
we bid you a good
Memories so
farewell.
sweet, I wanna
And if there's
cry.
anything you need to add on to this, Sack?
Dreams that I've
No,
had
sir.
had me feeling
That
so
being said,
bad.
we love you.
I
Like,
just wanna give up,
share,
lay down
and
and
comment
die.
or not.
So if you just
Say
lost
goodnight, Heat
your
Sack.
sweetheart,
Good night, Heapsack.
just around the corner that is high. Down the street that losers use. If you can wade in through the teardrops, you find me at the home of the blues. I walk and I cry while my heart beats. Keeps time with the track of my shoes. The sun never shines through this window of mine. It's dark at the home of the blues. Oh, but the place is filled with the sweetest memories. Memories so sweet I wanna cry. Dreams that I've had left me feeling so bad. I just wanna give up, lay down and die. So if you just lost your sweetheart and it seems there's no good way to choose, come along with me, misery lovers company. You're welcome at the home of the blues. You're welcome at the home of the blues. Just around the corner that is holly. Down the street that losers use. If you can wade in through the teardrops, my friend, you find me at the home of the blues. You find me at the home